webinar. My name is Carlos Scarpero, aka Mr. Leads. I'm an internet marketing consultant with Constant Contact. I also have my own business, Mr. Leads. Today we are doing Look Great in the Inbox. We're going to learn about 7 critical errors to avoid in your email design. Like I said, my name is Carlos, aka Mr. Leads, and I am located in the Dayton, Ohio area. If you're here in Dayton, feel free to look me up, meet me for coffee, or come out to a networking event. I was running my own events for a while. Now I'm getting involved with H7 Network. If you're here in the Dayton area, definitely check out their events. And so what I do is I help people grow their business online. And I've been doing this quite a while. I've been doing online marketing since around '99. Believe it or not, it's a pretty long time. I've been doing public speaking since 2012, and this picture was actually from a LinkedIn class I did in 2012. I'm over here at Indiana Wesleyan University. So I've been there, I've done that. I know a pretty good amount about online marketing and would love to show you more about how you can market your business online more effectively. So today we're going to talk a little about do's and don'ts with email marketing design. Email newsletters, as you probably know, are a great way to promote your business. Studies have shown that an email newsletter has an incredible ROI. I've heard it's somewhere around 4,000% or something insane, which basically means for every dollar spent, $40 comes back. Now, does everybody get that? Of course not. You know, you have to use it well and know exactly how to do it. But I'm going to give you some tips for good design, and so this will give you a good starting point to understand how to do email marketing more effectively. If you have any questions, feel free to put those in the questions box. I'll have a questions section at the end of the webinar today. So as a reminder, this program is part of Constant Contact's Be a Marketer series. So if you do want to be a better marketer, all it really does take is Constant Contact. And for those of you that have not tried it yet, Constant Contact offers a suite of services, including email marketing, social media marketing. They have an event tool. They have some social sharing tools. A lot of different tools you can use to grow your business more effectively. And so if you've not tried it, if you've not tried the free trial, I definitely want to invite you to try it out. And you should have had a link when you registered to check that out. If you didn't get that link, or if you forgot to fill it out, feel free to reach out to me. I can definitely get that free trial to you so you can check it out for yourself. So let's talk a little bit about email marketing. First impressions do matter. When you meet someone, they say that the first 7 seconds are most important. So first impressions matter in email marketing as well. So there's a difference between an email and email marketing. So let me ask you this: which of these looks more interesting to you? Which is more engaging? Which has a better user experience? The one on the right, you can see that you got some images there. You get the branding. The color scheme matches the website, I would assume, or it should. The one on the left is just plain text email, kind of dull and boring, and not much there. And that's not even including all the other stuff like being trackable and being able to maintain a list and all that stuff. It's just the style so much better on the one on the right. And mobile marketing. Mobile, I'm sure if you're like me, you probably have your cell phone on your desk. My cell phone's literally, 2 feet away from me, not even that far, right in arm's reach. And so they're saying that quite a bit of people are checking email on their phones. I think every single year it seems like I check more and more of my email on my phone just because it's just so darn convenient. And so here's the studies that shows that about 51% of emails are open on a mobile device, and this was, I think, taken about a year or two ago. I think it's probably actually a little bit higher by now, because it seems like every year that they do this study, it goes higher and higher because more and more people are getting smartphones and using them more often for email. What's the number one app on the cell phone, which is one of the other slides I have in these presentations, is the email app. It's typically the first thing people set up when they get a smartphone. So when you're thinking about designing your newsletter, you definitely need to think about the impact of mobile on email. The nice thing about Constant Contact is it will actually, in the reports, it will show you the percentages of your users that are mobile and the percentage that are on the desktop. And you definitely want to look at that and understand how many of your users are opening up on a mobile device. But that doesn't extend just to email. One of the things I look at when I'm talking to people about their online presence is how is mobile looking on your website. So what I would encourage you to do is whenever you send out a newsletter, email it to yourself, open it up, see how it looks. Does it look engaging? Do the fonts come out right? Do the images come out right? Same thing with your website. Go on your website through your phone and see, does the text come out the way it's supposed to? Do the images come out the way they're supposed to? Does my message come out the way it's supposed to? If you got a pop-up or something, does that show up the way it's supposed to? It doesn't always. It definitely doesn't always. And if you have any things that are not working correctly, reach out to me. I can definitely fix that for you. So when email doesn't look good on the mobile device, you had some problems. About 80% will delete it, not even open it, which means your message is lost. And probably, if anything, they have a negative impression of you. And you definitely don't want that. You want them to have a positive impression, hopefully open your email. And of course, 30% unsubscribe. They're just going to move on. They're going to move on to your competitor that's doing these things. So you definitely want to make sure that your email does look good on the cell phone. Like I said, just send and test yourself, see if it works, see what you think. So on our agenda today, 7 don'ts of email design, and make sure your branding's looking good, fonts are looking good, colors looking good. You're organized, got images, making it shareable, and mobile. So start a little bit with branding. So here are 2 samples, what not to do and what to do. As you can see, the one on the right's got these quick links, and they're over there in a sidebar, and the sidebar thing that I have on the one on the left, it's kind of an older style before cell phones came out. And so I wanted to encourage you to move towards using a 1-column layout. It just looks so much better on the cell phone. And the one on the left, it's very cluttered. You don't really know, your eye doesn't know where to go. And you got this coupon, but where the heck is it? And you get these classes, but it's very confusing. Branding, which is what this slide's about, doesn't really match the website. They got a nice green brand. On the one on the left, you got that logo teeny tiny. So you definitely don't want that either. And by the way, if you are a current Constant Contact customer, feel free to reach out to me. I do offer free evaluations of your current template. So if you're a current customer, feel free to reach out to me. I'll give some info at the end of this webinar about how to do that. So how will you be the most recognizable? Hopefully you have a brand that you're using email marketing, you're using Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Hopefully it's consistent. Whatever color scheme you have of your website, hopefully that brand and those images match. Whatever logo you decide to be your Facebook logo should also be your LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, etc. Whatever image color scheme you have on your website should be the same image and color scheme that's on your email newsletter. And with Constant Contact, we do offer a free website match. So basically what that means is we can actually give you a free template that matches a free email template that matches your newsletter. So check that out as well. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me about that as well. So be consistent with your logo and branding colors. We were just talking about this. You got your email, your website, your Facebook, and look at it. You get the same images right here. I think I got this little thingy. I can actually even highlight it here. So you get these images right here. Always match the images here. Matches your image here. very consistent. Color schemes, you got this nice pink right here for that cupcake, which matches the same pink cupcake down there. So definitely it all matches up. Something to think about. Use images of your business, your products, your people, and then consistent language. You don't want one type of language on one and the other on the other. Because you're going after the similar audiences. So definitely keep it consistent no matter where you're going. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know how to get rid of those. These. Oh, here we go. Oh, much better. What not to do. So, what not to do on this one, we got the fonts. We're kind of on the same subject, on the same two logos here. So we got, on the left, we got these fonts. They're really, really tiny. On the right, we got better fonts. And you definitely want about a 14-point font these days or higher, simply because with the mobile phones, we're finding that the smaller fonts are just too hard to read. So you definitely don't want to do that. And we're going to talk about different types of fonts in a minute. So think at least a 14-point font. For your headers, you probably want something a little bigger, maybe 18 to 20. And again, test it. Send it to your phone. If you wear reading glasses, see if you can read it without glasses. I think that's a really good test for those of us that wear reading glasses. It's very good to just, because if it's inconvenient for them, if they have to put their glasses on to read it on the phone, they're probably, I'll just move on instead of actually reading it. So here's some different font types. There's serif and sans serif, and you might have heard this expression before, but if you're like me, you probably have no clue what the differences are. And so I'm going to explain the differences of serif versus sans serif fonts. So the serif font's best for printed material. So they got these cool little things at the bottom, look like little stands, but it's harder to read online. So Bakersfield, Georgia, Times New Roman, those types of fonts. Sans serif, definitely what you want. They're easy to read on the web. You use on most websites in small text. Arial, Helvetica, Veranda, very typical fonts. I put most of my newsletters in Arial. I just think it's easy to read, looks clean, looks crisp, and renders well on any kind of device. So here's an interesting one. What not to do, give them something they can read. And to me, this one on the left is a total DIY newsletter. And a lot of times I'll talk to people that are doing their own newsletters that don't have design backgrounds or design experience or inclination. That's not their skill set. And we'll end up with newsletters that look like this. It's just a mess. The way to describe it, it's just a mess. You got these color schemes that look like, what the heck? And you got, your eye doesn't know where to go. It's not very readable. Where are we going with this? I can't even read it. I don't even want to read it. My head hurts just looking at it. Let's put the one on the right. You get your nice logo right here at the top. Looks good. Got one image. And I think everyone here would agree that the one on the right just looks cleaner and much more of something you want to jump into. Really nice call to action. Book your trip now, right there. We'll use the pen now. I know how to use it. You get this book your trip now, and then you get the button right there, the book now. And then at the bottom, we get the featured destinations. So very clear call to action. Look at the one on the left. There's no call to action whatsoever. Well, you get the call or email us, but it's kind of like, okay, why? Well, we got this other stuff, but why? Again, it's just very, very messy. I have no idea what to do with this thing. Oh, hold on. So color schemes. We got this color scheme on the left. It doesn't really match the website. You get this gray that's kind of dull and boring. And this one on the right, we got this green. I guess what? It matches the green right there. doesn't it? It's all looking good. So check this out. 85% of shoppers buy a product because of its color. Color increases your brand recognition by 80%. And 40% of people in the world say blue is their favorite color. Now there's one in the middle, because I mean, I look at that, it's like, oh, that's Cheerios. I mean, immediately when I saw that, and that's how much they've got it, you know, ingrained in our brain, that the heart and the yellow and the circle is Cheerios. So here's an interesting chart. You know, it's page 21 of the slide deck. I'm in case you want to look at it later. So we got all these different colors. You know, you got yellow, gives attention to window shoppers. Red increases the heart rate. Blue, security, wealth, is green. Orange is aggressive. Black is powerful. Pink is romantic. Purple is soothing. So definitely keep this chart in mind when you're creating your website or your newsletter, and think about what kind of impression you're trying to give on your audience. Are you giving the right impression? Something to consider. And the source is kissmetrics.com/color psychology. That's actually where we got that from. So you can always check out that website and see a little more information about why they have these colors. So think about this. If you can't read it, neither will your consumers or your customers. And as you can tell, these are pretty darn hard to read. I get a headache just looking at it, honestly. And it's crazy. I mean, I see so many people building their own websites and build their own newsletters, and I'm like, why did they build that there? Why did they do it that way? I can't read it. And that's always the first thing I do when I'm looking at websites, when I'm redesigning a website. It's like, okay, we're tearing this crummy color scheme out. I want it easy to read. I want people to know exactly what it says and be able to read it. So avoid these extremely bright color combinations. You know, this with this, this with this. Avoid the textured one. Oh my God, that's the worst. I can't even, it's an eye test there. That's ridiculous. Avoid too many colors. They're just, boom, so much. Avoid matching light text with a light background, or dark text with a dark background, or color combinations that are just hard to read. So think about that. So as you would agree, this one right here is a lot easier to read. So I would suggest, you know, if you're testing color schemes, send an email to yourself. You know, maybe send to a couple of your friends, see what they think. Ask them how easy it is for them to read. You know, sometimes that outside opinion just really helps, because, you know, if you're so close to your business, you just don't necessarily know. So just test them out, see what works. So you get here are a couple tools that you can use. You get the digital color meter that ships with the Mac. And I have a PC, and there's a program called ColorCop. It's totally free. Colorcop.net/download. Basically what these programs do is you have this little dropper here, and you basically will drop it on a color, and it will actually give you this, what's called a hex code, which actually tells you what the code is for that color. And so basically this box right here would turn into the color right there that defines it, and then what you do is go into Constant Contact or your web editor or whatever and use that for color scheme. And so if you're trying to match something, so maybe you have a nice blue sidebar on your website, you want to match on your emails, use ColorCop to do that. You know, Constant Contact, like I said, will give you a free template. So most of that is done for you, but sometimes you still need it. You may even match something on your newsletter. You may want to match your header or match something specific. Definitely a good tool. If you're a Chrome user, there's also a Chrome program for that. I don't remember the name of it, but something to consider as well. And if you go in the Google Chrome store and look for color matching tool, it will have that program. A couple other ones I've never used. This one called Color Schemer. I'm not really sure what that one is. Adobe Color PC. Check that out as well. I've not used either program, so I can't tell you the good or the bad with those, but also good to consider. So stay organized. I talked about this a second ago. You got all this clutter. It's one on the left. You get this little coupon there and some links, and you don't know what the heck's going on, as opposed to right here, very organized. Here's my stuff. Here's how you do it. Nice one column, simple, easy to read newsletter. So make sure your campaign matches the newsletter type you're doing. Here are some templates you can use. So product promotion template. This is a nice one for an e-commerce store where you're putting out multiple items and you want to let people know. Nonprofit. I really like this when you get the Gorilla Doctors. You got a nice photo. And then sometimes business letter B2B can be a little more structured, and there's a B2B business letter example you can use as well. But don't forget your images. Images are so important. The one on the left, you got all these images. They're teeny tiny. Suppose the one on the right, you got these nice, beautiful images. You got their nice logo. Everything matches, looks good. Definitely want to consider that as well. So think about this. 82% of people pay more attention to emails with pictures. Use something called alt text. And so alt text actually comes from the web design industry, where basically if the image is disabled, and by the way, in Gmail, they say about 50% of users don't enable their photos. So you definitely want alt text there that describes the photo. And basically what alt text is if the person has their images disabled for whatever reason, it will actually show text where the photo would be. It'd be basically just a big block, and it'll have a description. It's also good for the blind. I know sometimes the blind that will, I think it will read to the blind people. Use something called pre-header text. And so pre-header text is basically when you send the email, you'll have your subject line. In certain programs, it will actually give kind of a snippet of what the newsletter says. And so it's a nice way to tease them with a little bit of content, if that makes sense. Make sure you use 3 or fewer images. Constant Contact did all kind of tests and studies that show that 3 or fewer images has the highest click rate. And definitely make sure to spotlight your products, services, your employees, and your customers. And you want to make sure that all that is highlighted and they know what's going on. And then there's another huge one. Don't use images of your content. I've seen that one. I've seen a few DIY newsletters where they do this, and I just shake my head and just want to cry when I see it. They'll do, and so what that means is basically they'll take the whole thing into Photoshop, and they'll plop their entire newsletter all in one picture, and it's a mess. Don't do it. Several reasons. One, it's a common spam technique. Because it actually is a way that they found to get around spam filters. But now spam filters figured that out, and so if you're doing that, if you're just plopping in a newsletter with just a photo and nothing else, with all your content, you're going to get into the spam box. The other issue is that about 50% of users on Gmail have their images disabled, and so if you do that, they'll get a blank newsletter, which they won't want to see. So something like this is the way you want to do it. You got your nice logo at the top. And you got an image, and then these down here, this is all text, So make it more engaging with videos. Mention your video in the email subject line. They're more likely to read emails that include a video. Keep emails short. People are impatient these days. Use the video for product demos, testimonials, promotions. With Constant Contact, there's actually a real easy way to insert videos in your email. If your video's on YouTube or Vimeo, what you can do is actually create a link, and basically there's a box in Constant Contact where basically you put a link to the YouTube video, plop it right in there, and it creates this nice little screenshot with the video button, with the play button, and it's boom right there. If the video is on your website, maybe you want to send it to your website instead. Typically what I'll do is I'll make a screenshot of the video and drop it in as an image, and then manually link it. It takes about 10 seconds more to do it. Not that hard. There are a couple programs out there. I don't remember the name of it. But there's actually a program that will actually turn your video into like a preview, where basically the image will actually move in the email, almost like what they're doing on Facebook these days, where you see a kind of a preview and the video is moving along, and then you're trying to click for more information. There's actually a program that will actually make animated GIFs. I don't remember the name, I'll have to find it, that you can actually drop into an email newsletter. So something to consider as well. Working with photos, choose the right size. 600 by 200, best for header images. 600 pixels wide is best for others. However, in Constant Contact, typically it will resize it automatically. So you really don't have to worry too much about that stuff. You know, if you plop in a big image, a lot of times what will happen is the program will actually resize it for you. But definitely you want to make sure that, you know, it makes sense for the thing. The other thing I've seen is, you know, people put a small image and then stretch it, and that's not good because it'll distort the image, distort the quality. Don't want to do that. Avoid copyright issues. You know, there are copyright things. You know, a lot of people download things from Google Images. Don't want to do that. You know, make sure that you're using your own photos or stock images. And here's some sites for digital photos: Stock Vault, Free Images. There's one called Kazi I use quite a bit. There's a lot of them out there. Big Stock, iStock Photo. So definitely, you know, take some time, get through those sites, and make sure that you have a legal photo in your newsletter. So with Constant Contact, it actually we have a content library with Big Stock where we can actually get photos for your campaign. And so basically right here in the Upload to Library button, there's a section that says Find the Perfect Image, and then you'll hit Search All. And then you go through that, and there's one section of free images. And then there is a section of paid images, which I believe is like $7 or $8. And then basically, once you purchase it, it will automatically be synced into Constant Contact in your library, and then you can use that for your newsletter. Constant Contact also does sync up with Facebook and Instagram, and so if you click Social Networks, and then you log into Facebook and Instagram, it will actually pull in your library of photos, and then you can use that as well, which is very handy. So don't forget to make it shareable. Yeah, so we got two different versions right here. The one on the left, you got this website like it's on Facebook, looks kind of dull and boring. I guarantee they're getting nothing from that. Right here on the right, you know, you get your social sharing bar where the person getting the newsletter, and you also get the one on the bottom, where the person getting the newsletter says, oh, gee, this is a really good newsletter. I need to share this. And they can click the Facebook button. They'll actually log right into their Facebook account, and then they can share the newsletter. Basically, share an online version of the newsletter with their audience, and then they can potentially get more clients, get more people to see it that way. And so it becomes a viral experience. If you have a newsletter list of 500 or 1,000 people, and then a couple of them share it on Facebook, all of a sudden, you know, instead of 1,000 people, maybe 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 people see it. You know, it can enhance your audience. So definitely, you want to give them the opportunity to share your content. But obviously, you want good content. You want to have something they want to share. But give them the tools to make it easy to do. And I've had a couple of experiences where, you know, especially a couple of these speaker coaches would send out a newsletter, and I was like, oh, that's good tips. I want to share that. And then they didn't have the social share thing, and I couldn't share it, and I was a little upset. And I was thinking, man, I really wish you had something on there that I could share it. And so definitely take advantage of those tools. And if you need any help with that stuff, let me know. So emails with social sharing buttons increase click-through rates by 158%. Definitely something you want to take advantage of. Emails with social sharing buttons increase your click-through rates by 158%. So definitely you want to take advantage of these buttons, because the more you're sharing that with your audience, the more people have the opportunity to see it and use it. So use the share bar. I just talked about that a second ago. And then ask people to like, share, retweet, pin it. You know, put something in the message. You can even use the social campaigns feature to either do a contest or do a coupon, something like that, to also encourage more sharing. Add your social media button. So this is these two buttons are a little bit different. This one on the left is to actually share the newsletter itself. So, if Bisq Imports is sharing something that you're really excited about, you can use these to share these on Facebook with your friends. The one on the right, these are actually to like the page itself. So you link these to your actual page. So if Bisq Imports wants you to like their page, they could put this information. I would probably add a little text to explain it, because I don't think they do a very good job of explaining what this is. So I would probably put a little call to action right here at the bottom. Hey, follow us on social media or something like that. So that way they know, oh, that's what that button is for. So something to consider there. Enhance your reach with a social share tool. So this is for your Facebook feed. So what you do is once you send your newsletter, at the very, very last screen, right after you hit the send button, there'll be a button at the very bottom of the screen that says, would you like to use the social share tool? And if you click yes, you'll end up on a screen that looks like this. And so it's actually compatible with Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And then, so when you first set it up, you'll go to this add channel button right here. You'll add those channels. You have to use your username, password, log in one time. Constant Contact doesn't get that information. They don't share it, but you have to sync it up. And then what it's going to do is create this headline. And this will actually be the headline that you had in your newsletter, the title of your newsletter. It'll have it right here. And then it'll have some suggested photos. Now, if you want to change it, maybe you don't like what they suggested, you can always change out the photos. If you don't like the headline, you can always change it. And then what you do is you schedule them. So I like to do 2 or 3. I'll schedule. Maybe if it's something for an event coming up, I might only share it once. But especially things like Twitter, you can get away with sharing it 3 or 4 times because not everybody reads it. So what you do is you go right here. They'll have a couple suggestions, and then either hit publish now or publish when you want to send it, and then you can go over here and add 2 or 3 more dates for additional publications with social sharing. So definitely something you want to check out. It's definitely helpful. And here's how it shows up on Facebook. So on Facebook, it will have the headline and a little more information, and then the person reading it can click on that and actually it will create an online version, like a web page version of your newsletter. It will look exactly like your newsletter, but it's actually on a web page, and all the links and everything else works exactly like on your newsletter itself. Keep mobile in mind. So here's 2 different versions. The first one on the left, we talked about this a minute ago, that not mobile friendly. It's got these ugly templates that you're using multiple columns and really teeny tiny fonts. The one on the right looks all nice, concise, everything's all put together. Looks good, looks professional. So like I suggested a minute ago, email a copy of your newsletter to yourself, see how it looks, see if you like it. Send it to a couple other people, see how it looks, see how they like it, see if it's readable, functional, and check it out, make sure it works for you. So avoid these mistakes. Don't use lengthy text. The old style of newsletters was, let's jam as much content in there as possible and just do them once a month. And I think that's a mistake these days, because especially now with cell phones, everybody's so impatient these days. Keep it short and simple. If you have an article, I would say to do maybe 100 words, 200 words, like a sample of the article, and then say, for more information, click here to read my article. Don't put a whole 500-word article in your newsletter. People won't read it. They'll just move on. Tiny fonts, that's a big one. Like I said before, I suggest at least a 14-point font with your fonts. I like an Arial font, which is a nice sans serif font. Avoid multiple columns. Talked about that as well. A nice single column newsletter, definitely helpful for what you're doing. Keep it simple. Less text is more. Large fonts, at least 14 for the text itself, at least 18 for your headers. Keep it single column. Luckily with Constant Contact, I think most of the templates are already this way. In Constant Contact, they've really been upgrading their templates. And so make sure you look at the template on the suggestion under it, there's like a little cell phone logo. That means it's mobile friendly, and definitely those are the ones you want to use if at all possible. Avoid these mistakes. Avoid having large off-screen images. Luckily for most templates and Constant Contact, all that's resized for you anyway, but make sure to avoid it. Make sure to avoid having hard to find or hard to read calls to action. There's something called a scroll line, which what a scroll line is basically what's read on the phone or on the screen before they have to scroll. So make sure whatever they have to click on is there's no scrolling required before your main thing is there to click on. It just makes it much easier. You're going to get much higher engagement, better clicks. So make sure that's done well. And again, if you want to review, reach out to me. I can review what you got going on now. Keep it easy. Size your images to fit in the newsletter. Use clear and obvious calls to action. So this was beautiful. We've got a headstand workshop coming up. Here's the date. Here's the time. And more importantly, here's the button. And it's all right there. Very easy to read. Clear and simple. Also, think about this. This image is really supplemental content. It's not the entire content. Okay, yeah, the image matches the content, but if they're on Gmail and they have their images turned off, it's not the end of the world. So everything works well. Just a reminder, Constant Contact does have a mobile app for creating campaigns. Just go into your Google Play Store or your Apple Store. You can download that app, create campaigns on it. You can also check your stats. So definitely something you want to look into. So let's put this all together. Anatomy of an email. Add to your email checklist. First, we got the preview pane. And so right under the title, when you're creating the newsletter, there's something called your pre-header. And so that's what they're talking about. This right here, actually I'm going to do an arrow. We'll make it interesting. We'll do an arrow now. So right here is who it's from. And then you get your subject line. Oh yeah, actually this one doesn't have a pre-header. So you'd have a subject line here, and then under that would be a pre-header. And actually this is not showing a pre-header here. But it would. So sometimes you get your subject line, that under that is the pre-header, which is what they're talking about. You choose the right template, designed for mobile. Include your business name in your text. Place your logo left or center, never on your right. Choose the right templates. Communicate through pictures. Less is more. Focus on relevant content. And then keep your key call to action above the scroll line. Optimize the links. Don't put too many links either. And then use those social media buttons so they can follow you as well. So any questions? I know we had a question a minute ago. Let me find it again. Oh, actually, I think I deleted the question. Hold on here. Actually, I did have a question in chat that I saw a minute ago, and for whatever reason, I'm not seeing it now. So if you want to ask your question again, I'm more than happy to answer it. For whatever reason, when I clicked on it, I can't quite find that question. All right, no worries. No other questions at this point. So Feel free to reach out to me after the webinar with any questions you might have, and I can definitely take care of that for you. Just a reminder, I'm a solution provider with Constant Contact. If you work with me, you get a dedicated customer support person to help you. You also get a marketing person to help review your campaigns. Like I'd mentioned a little while ago, if you're needing help with your campaigns, you want someone to look over what you're doing, I can help you with that. You can also claim all the discounts you're entitled to. Constant Contact has tons of discounts from Chamber, SBDC, etc. I can get all those for you as well. And so this is at no additional charge. Constant Contact actually pays me a commission to help you out. So if you're a current Constant Contact customer and want help with this, reach out to me, cscarper@gmail.com, and I will get that information to you. As a reminder, Constant Contact has partner discount programs with United Way, Chamber of Commerce, SBDC. And so if you need help claiming those discounts, let me know, and I will get those to you. And so what I do is I clear the clutter in digital marketing. There's so much going on with online marketing. You got social media, you got email marketing, you got websites, and I just talk to people all the time. They just don't know where to go, where to start. And so what I do is I bring all that together. One of the big things I offer is a consultation plan where I look at everything you're doing and say, based on what you're doing now, you need to do this, 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 and this, and don't do this, 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 and this. And when you do that, it's just amazing because all of a sudden you're marketing more effectively, and you're growing in the way you want to grow based on your goals. And so if you need help with that, if you're interested in that, reach out to me and I'll get you some information about how to get started with your digital marketing plan. It's something that everybody should do in their business. So a lot of you are trying to DIY it. You're probably feeling like this. You just got clutter, you got stuff everywhere, you're trying to learn everything. And it's good to stay involved, good to stay informed. But the problem is that if you're spending all your time trying to learn online marketing, and yet you're trying to do whatever else you do, that's your genius path in your business. You're doing stuff that just doesn't make sense for you to learn every single thing about. As opposed to me, I've been doing this for 17 years and study it every day. So of course I'll know more about it than you will. So what I do is I clear that confusion and help you out. I've seen other people, and so you probably feel like this. You might feel like, help, and so you don't need to feel that way. Talk to me. I can help you clear that clutter out and market more effectively. I've seen other people say, well, I'll just hire an intern. They'll take care of it for me. But if you don't know where that intern should go or what they should do, it's still going to, they might be able to help you with a couple tasks here and there, but do they know the strategy behind it? Do they know the reasoning behind it? I see people say, oh, I need a Facebook page. And I say, why? I don't know. Everybody else is on Facebook. Well, that's not good enough reason. Is it correct for your business based on your goals? I don't know. So if you want help with that, let me know. I can help you out. So, your online business is your eggs in that basket. I want to make sure you're using those well. So if you need help, help is here. Put this all into action, whether it's your email marketing or something else. I want to invite everyone to get a free 20-minute marketing consultation with me. It's at mr-leads.com/consultation, and I can definitely help you out with that. Before we go, looks like we got a couple questions. Let me see what we got here. Can Constant Contact pull contact information from followers on Facebook? No, it cannot. So unfortunately, Facebook has all kind of restrictions on your list. So really, however, what you can do is run a Facebook ad to your current Constant Contact newsletter subscribers. And so what you can do is you can download your newsletter list and create a Facebook ad that basically targets by email address. And so with that, and I've done that before, because I know that not everyone's going to open my email newsletter. Unfortunately, you know that your open rate is 20, 25, 30%, whatever it is, and so those other people didn't open the email. So what I've done before, if it's a really important message I want to get out there, is I'll actually go and download my Constant Contact subscriber list and create a Facebook ad and target them. So that's a little different. Unfortunately, because of Facebook's restrictions, there's no way to actually pull Facebook information into Constant Contact. I wish I could. So, but thanks everyone for being on the webinar today. I really appreciate it. This webinar is being recorded, and so it will be on my website, mr-leeds.com, shortly today. Thanks so much. Have any questions, need any help, reach out to me. Got the link right there. And thanks again. Have a great afternoon.